to Transparent Conversations, Elevated Exchanges. I'm Calvin, or CPJR if you know me, or the Melancholy Guy if you feel me. It's not Friday. It is Saturday morning, but I am recording the Friday night live show today on Saturday. Because I have a special guest with me today. Her name is Halise. I've talked about Halise before. Um, Hi, welcome.
Hey, I didn't know that you talked about me before.
I talked about you the last our last conversation. Well, I talked about you before because we had been trying to do a podcast before.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then the incident that we had, not incident, but the realization that you had of what my situation really was, and then how that conversation went down. And I think that was my first time ever really being showing my accountability to the situation, and then handling it in a way that I didn't like just block you because I got defensive.
That's not why we didn't do the podcast. We had been stopped doing the podcast. We're
Not
just
the podcast.
inconsistent.
Not the
So I'm
podcast.
like that. Okay, because I'm like, we didn't do the podcast because we were inconsistent.
Right. It was inconsistent, right? But all that
It
was
has nothing to
for
do
me.
with anything else.
Yeah, for me, it was all wrapped up in my situation. But I'm saying how the last we talked, how you finally realized that, oh, this is really serious. What I'm dealing
So
with is
that's,
really serious.
well, yeah. I mean, the last time we talked is not when I first realized it was really serious. I know that addiction is serious,
Mm-hmm.
but it was the first time I realized what type of situation I was actually in. Just as usual, in your 20s, you don't really know what you're getting yourself into when you get involved with certain people. Even though I never felt like I was in any danger, which
Right.
I wasn't. I mean, I just, it dawned on me like all the things that you had been going through and all the things like up until now that would still affect you today,
Right.
that could still affect me.
Right.
Now that I have this awareness of life in a sense. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole thing just dawned on me because I now too, I mean, even then, but now even more so, have so many things to reflect on
Uh-huh.
in terms of who I am and what I deal with and how my life could affect somebody else. You know what I
Right.
mean? And so it was more like, yeah, but there was a bit of anger there at some point
That's
because I was thinking like, oh, you know, the power dynamics in terms of the difference in age, which I mean, and again, I think that we are so much aware of that as we're so much more aware of that as a society now
mm-hmm.
than we were before. Like difference in power dynamics with men and women, difference in power dynamics with old and young, difference in power dynamics with status in society. Like we're realizing that now. So with all of this newfound like awareness of just all these different dynamics of everything about me knowing you like dawned on me in our last conversation. I would say that. Like just to be
Yeah.
more exact. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I never want to paint the picture that I ever thought that addiction was not serious. It's just
Right.
that then I experienced things in my life with different people that helped me see different sides of addiction and different effects of addiction, even
Mm-hmm.
on me and their lives. So I had more context for just how serious it could play out in someone's life. But with knowing you, I never, I mean, basically on a scale of 1 to 10 of me feeling how serious it could be based on the actual effects was like a 2 versus what I experienced with other people, which was like an 8 to 10. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. I know exactly what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. So there's no easy way to say that, like
No, the whole
that
thing's
I
not
know
easy.
of.
The whole thing's not easy, and I've never dealt with it. That's what that's what I was trying to get to. It's never easy, and I never really dealt with it responsibly. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's like normally if that would have happened in the past, I would have did my little I got defensive type deal and saying, you know what, you can leave, I can't leave, and get an attitude, just block you and be on my way.
And let's explain what happened. I mean, maybe you didn't explain in the last thing. All that
Mhm.
happened is that I came to hang out with you where you were at the time.
Uh-huh.
And I think I stayed for 2 nights or
Mm-hmm.
1 night.
It was two.
And so the first night, I think I got in at night.
Mm-hmm.
I was coming from New York, and then I got in at night, and
Mm-hmm.
then we just hung out. And I think the next day we went to the park, and it was really fun. Went to the park, one of
Mm-hmm.
the big parks. And then the next day I woke up, it was the day I was leaving, and you were gone. I just woke up and you were gone. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
I felt nothing. Like, and it's probably because like I didn't it's like I don't even I was just like, oh, okay, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I tell you, I don't even know if it was apathy. It was more like peace. It was just like, oh, okay, like I'm just gonna all right, I guess I'll talk to him later. Like, I didn't know if you were upset. I guess I didn't even care. Like, I think maybe I was too crowded in too. Like, see, that's what I'm saying. We all have things that push people away and do certain things. Like, I don't have an addiction to a substance per se, but I may have other unresolved ways of dealing with people and unresolved issues within me. Like, for instance, if I need space, at that time, I would not have known how to say it. I
Right.
would just start an argument and just
Okay.
be a
Okay.
bitch. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And just make someone. So maybe, and I remember there was some contentious moments um, the night before. So maybe in my head, I was thinking, oh, well, maybe that's why he left. I guess I'm trying to think back in my memory if at that point I had ever lived with anybody. I hadn't. But like later in life, I would live with people and like they would like maybe not come home or something, and maybe I'd have a little bit more reason to know why and context.
Mm-hmm.
But I can definitely say that it was probably overwhelming for me now realizing it though, like to even just be at your place and just like I probably didn't need to stay 2 nights. I probably just needed to stay one night. I probably needed space, and that's
Mm-hmm.
why I woke up
Okay.
and was like a little bit like I don't know, maybe I was numb, but I wasn't that devastated. So if
Right.
people want to know what happened, that's what happened. Like that was the incident. Like no,
Right.
there was no violence. It was just like pure you just gone. Like, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's weird. That's weird. Okay. I
And
mean,
we
but
did some stuff that
okay.
weekend too, right?
You did what stuff?
I went to Great Falls. Um.
That's what I said. I said we went to the
Yeah.
park.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what that's called, Great Falls.
Yeah. Great Falls.
We had dinner. I think you made some salmon. We went to Great Falls. We did. There was nothing else though. Like I slept in a different room. Like
Yeah.
there was nothing sexual. There was no,
No.
But there was a moment where I do remember a contentious like moment where maybe I didn't behave in the most polite way. I think
Mm-hmm.
I kind of had an attitude or something, and that could have been just me like dang, like all of a sudden I'm just in this person's space and I don't necessarily feel that comfortable. Like
Really? Okay.
when I tell you I don't have company, like when I tell you I literally have to know someone for a long time and feel super comfortable, and this is a term that we now know of, unmasked,
Uh-huh.
to even have them, I could be in their space easier than they can be in mine. The whole time that I lived in Mexico, like I had one friend come over. Well, it was two. Um, but they came over a few times just right after dance class because they were dance teachers, and then
Mhm.
we just hung out a little bit. But that was it. Like, I mean, I didn't have people over. There were several reasons for that, but one of the main reasons is I'm just when I come home, I need to be like completely unmasked, and I need to
Right.
be completely myself. And I don't think that me being in your home would have allowed me to do that, which is probably why I snapped. I didn't snap, but which is probably why I had an attitude. And I think you definitely weren't happy with that, which is fine because why would you be like, why
Mhm.
are you in my house if you're gonna have an attitude? You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
Right.
I don't know why. I just, when you're in your 20s and you're entitled and you just feel like you can get away with anything, and you
Mhm.
mostly do,
Mhm.
but that's kind of what it was. And so maybe that's why I wasn't surprised. And maybe I was, you know what? Maybe I was relieved.
That
Maybe
was
I was just
gone.
relieved. Yeah, maybe I was
Mhm.
relieved.
Probably
So I
so.
just had
Probably so.
so I just had a completely different take on it. And then maybe some of the other people, if you had left and they didn't know where you were, like the way it would have affected them. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
So that's just context.
That was crazy. That was crazy. But that. But okay. So I think that you should give us introduction to yourself. Like, who are you? Why do we know each other? and why you feel like you are a good guest to be on this podcast.
I I just want to preface this by saying I don't enjoy doing introductions.
Okay.
It's like
I don't
small
know.
talk.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't like what am I supposed to say? So this particular episode is about living authentically. I
Yes.
authentically dislike introducing myself. My name is Halise.
Right.
um, I I live. I
Hmm.
don't even like to say like what I am or who I am. I'm a child of God. I'm a creation of God. I'm a product of the universe and all these
Hmm.
different elements coming together and creating this unique individual. I'm a product of my environment, my influences, my upbringing, the people in my life, my family, my friends, my
Okay.
choices, the consequences of them. The reason why we know each other, I think we met in this like polyamorous Facebook group, which who even
Hmm.
is on Facebook anymore? It's just like
Hmm.
who's like no. But we met then back when I've always been online in these online communities. I've been online since I was 16. I've been in
Hmm.
chat rooms, I've been in all the apps. Well, I didn't really get too much into all the dating apps, and I didn't really get too much into what is it, Snapchat or Tumblr or Twitter.
Hmm.
I didn't really get into those, but I've been online enough, and I've been in different communities. And I met you in it was like an open relationship polyamorous community,
It's usually
which is
moment.
really funny.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it's really funny because I don't think I truly really live any of that kind of stuff now in
Neither.
terms of the model of the relationships is more about um but they had this thing called trust partners or accountability partners, and I think
Hmm.
that we just became that,
Right.
so whatever that meant. Like I have no idea what we were supposed to do.
Right.
Like,
We weren't really involved.
you know what I mean? It was kind of disorganized,
We
but
just up in meetings and
we're just
jumped on
friends.
things.
We were just friends, and
Mhm.
that was just the means through which we became friends. And I think the
Mhm.
reason why I'm a good guest for the show, I can definitely answer that though, is because if you're talking about living authentically, I think that everyone has a journey, everyone has a path. And I think that I've been able to, and I say this humbly, convey some wisdom about
Mhm.
choices and how to make them, and what changes you might go through, and what obstacles you might encounter in trying to choose the right path or the next right step for whatever you're trying to do,
Okay.
particularly with people who have ADHD or who identify as neurodivergent. I feel like that's my tribe, a lot of them.
Mhm.
Before I knew that I had ADHD, which was like pretty much, I think I learned this at the age of like 36 or something.
Mhm.
Before I knew I had ADHD, um, I just thought I would have called myself an indigo. What do they call them? People, indigo children, or just someone
Mhm.
different.
Right.
Like I would have called myself a Martian. I feel like there's so many words that we try to use to explain why we think different, why we feel different. And now I have a scientific reason, but
Mhm.
I didn't need that to justify. However, it's really validated a
Right.
ton
Make
of
it work.
what I've gone through. Yeah, so a good guess. I mean, when you're neurodivergent, you're a minority. You're a minority in that way.
But a big
You
minority though.
you a big minority, but the world is not designed for that. So
A lot
you
of tech
have
bros are neurodivergent. A lot of the billionaire tech bros, they're neurodivergent.
the TED Talk people.
No, the tech bros like
Oh, tech
Mark
bros.
Zuckerberg, Elon Musk.
Yeah, neurodivergent but
Yeah,
privileged. You know what I mean?
but
So
it worked for them, right? Because
exactly, but it worked for them because they were privileged and because they had a skill
right,
that everything lined up. It just
right.
so happened to be they had a skill and the relationships, because none of these guys who became the face of what they created,
Mhm.
were the only ones doing
Right.
that. So they always had a partner who was in the behind the scenes.
Doing
So
the
they had
work.
the right relationships, the right environment.
Mhm.
They had the privileges, and
You can really
now
focus.
they're billionaires. If you trace back a lot of billionaires, they don't come from nothing. They come from privilege, and it's a
Exactly.
long lineage of that. So, you know,
Mhm. But it's not a. I don't know. The whole tech thing is kind of built for them. Like they're pushing like AI right now, and like they see the beauty of it. and I'm using it more and more. So it's like they saw that, they saw where the money's coming from, and then they're going to get the money. That's a
Well,
type of
I
focus
think even
in our lives.
before, I think before AI became popularized, which was only in the last year or two,
Hmm.
conversational AI, became
Right.
popularized because there's other types. I think that it was the world wanting to be the world connecting the world.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why social media blew up. It became and revolutionized everything before AI did. So I think
Right.
yeah, so it they knew the world wanted to be connected. But now all of these things are just ad platforms. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
they
Like,
hijacked it. They hijacked the purpose and then learned the algorithms, and then
I
they want
don't
to
think
teach you.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they hijack the purpose. I feel like
That's the purpose. This is the purpose. You think everything's going good? Do we
I
have
feel
silos? If we can all see each other, why are we still so separated?
um
Because we see each other online, right? I could be in a. I could. I'm gonna say it like this. I could be in a barbecue cooking group with a bunch of white guys, and we're talking. They talking about smoking meat, like, you know what I'm saying. Every weekend, how you smoke a brisket, all this kind of stuff, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they'll just come out and say something about the damn libs. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, wait a minute, we were the
and
same
talk about what?
community.
The
The
what?
lib, the liberal, the libtards. They like calling people
Oh.
names. They'll just say a random out of nowhere, like for nothing, and like, oh, I
Well,
got
social
this people
media
now.
didn't do that and was not the start of this, but social media provided a vehicle to be able to divide people a lot more efficiently,
Yeah,
is what I believe.
that's the
So it's,
algorithm.
it's like they didn't, I think I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb here and say I think the intentions began as innocently as it was portrayed. Like,
Hmm.
I want to build an app that connects the world. And it
Right.
started with college students.
So you know the purpose of Facebook, right? The first real purpose of Facebook?
Was for the government?
No, it was for no, it was Zuckerberg. He was rating girls. It was basically smash or pass. You know what I mean? That was the basic beginning of Facebook.
Oh, okay.
He used to be
So
able to
yeah,
rate
but
girls.
as innocent as, and I'm not saying that is the highest of
Purpose.
intelligence. I'm not
Hmm.
saying it's not misogynistic. I'm just saying I don't think it was to push a political agenda. Like, I don't think that
No, no.
Zucker exactly. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think that when you say they hijacked it, if you're still talking about the creators of these things, I think the
Hmm.
creators of, I think now when you're creating something, because you see the way that the social media apps are going to go, you're
Right.
probably creating it with that intention in mind, depending on who you are. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I think the originators of, like, before social media became what we know it'll ultimately like probably be
Hmm.
back then, I
Hmm.
think they started it. They just wanted to create something to revolutionize the world and connect the world. And I do believe it was ego driven. They wanted to be these big,
Hmm.
guys to, like, they wanted to go to the moon essentially. They wanted
Right.
to go to the moon, but via online. And
Right.
I think that now, but of course, when something gets so big, the government gets involved. They want to put their agenda in. Corporations get
Hmm.
involved. They want to put their agenda in, and they're like, all right, let's make a deal. You run ads on this, you give me this. I make sure this gets pushed. I suppress
Right.
this, and now it's that. I mean, that's what
That.
we know it is now. But I think
Right.
every industry becomes that eventually, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, get money. But I naturally thought that Facebook was good at the beginning of social media, but then I guess when I saw that when I saw that I don't see the people I actually follow on a regular basis. I get
Mm,
algorithm. I get other things sent to me.
yeah.
People get shadow banned, and if I want to get the pure just my people's feed, their posts on a timeline, you can't anymore. You can't.
Mm,
It's always gonna serve you up what they want to serve you up, and that is to control your mood. They definitely got caught doing that.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. So again, I think it's more than money, but I think it's power, influence, and control, and I
Hmm.
think it's energy vampirism.
So there's a good part about my social media journal, journey is when I like met you, and I always say that, and the whole like ethically non-monogamous community, right? Like that helped me a lot, really, to just get in touch with, or actually just ask questions that I wouldn't not normally ask in relationships. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Instead of me just accepting that the boundaries that somebody put out for me, and they weren't boundaries, then they were rules. I would just accept the rules and then try to live under that, and then that would cause frustration, of course, because you don't like breaking rules. I don't really like lying or breaking rules, but under what I was living under, I had to do that all the time. Like I would say that the whole thing about I'm gonna say religion, and the way our society is set up, it's set up to make you lie. You know what I mean?
Mm.
To because you want to fit in. It's all about conformity, right? So you're not gonna really tell. This is all about living authentically right now. You're not gonna really tell anybody how you feel because they're gonna put you on the outside. The first thing I realized when I left church, was that I'm out of my community now, and I can't go back. You know what I'm saying? Like the people who I grew up, I spent many years in church and was on like the usher board, trustee board, all this
Really?
kind of stuff. I can't be in that community anymore because I don't
Why?
believe what
Because
they
you stopped
believe.
going?
I don't believe what they believe. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie and say I believe in a God I don't believe in, or say I'm feeling the Holy Ghost when I don't believe it, or talking in tongues when I don't believe it. You know what I'm saying? Once I reject the belief, I'm agnostic. Yeah, agnostic spiritual. I already talked about it. You probably have you heard it before? I call myself an agnostic.
Agnostic means you don't know
I
what
don't
you
know.
believe?
I don't. There's nothing to believe. If you ask me, you ask me, is there a being higher than us? I don't know. I've never seen him. I don't know why he wouldn't show himself. I don't. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna have an argument either way with you. But I do believe there's something to our spirituality. I believe spirituality connects us.
So you do believe something.
Spirituality, yeah. I believe I am spiritual. I say spiritual agnostic, right? But I'm not gonna give that thing a name when I don't know the name to give it. You know what I'm saying? It isn't asking me to give it a name. Only interaction that I have with it is through other people, and then it's called
Mhm.
reveal religion. And they can only tell me what they believe. They can't tell me what they actually know. But they'll faith makes it known to them because faith is the evidence of things not seen, right? So, but and I went along for a long time, and I lied a lot in church to be accepted. You know what I'm saying? Because I
Mhm.
love the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Of course,
Mhm.
I prayed this week to God. Of course, God answered my prayers. I got a paycheck. Thank God for that. You know what I'm saying? I have a wife, a lovely home. Thank God for that. But there's nothing. But I still had to go to work every day. You know what I'm saying? I still had to.
And that made you question the existence of a God.
I don't have a problem with it. No, I don't have a
No,
problem with it.
jobs will do that. Jobs will do that.
No, church wasn't going to exist because the job was like, okay, I'll get a function, I get a benefit from this. I go to work and I get paid. I keep myself busy. I learn
But you're in
things.
IT. See, that's the thing.
Yeah,
What if you were making a fourth of what you were making and you got
I'm
a
doing
tenth of
different.
the respect?
Yeah,
You know,
but
that might make you question. But you are in IT, which is kind of,
but
I'm not going to say it's highly respected in the organization itself, but in the
it's not.
world,
It's not.
but in the world,
Yeah,
people,
it's
you
up.
say you do IT, it's like, oh, you're legit, right? And
Right.
the
It's a real job.
salary that you could pull down, especially at that time, was pretty high.
Yeah.
And the ways that you could work, they were some of the first people to work remotely.
Yeah.
Privilege in work and how you can work and knowing things that other people just look at as a big mystery. Ooh, computers, and
Yeah.
you just coming in like fixing it. So, I mean, imagine, so I could see why your job was it was somewhat
Who
a
I
way
am.
of validating your belief
Yeah.
in God, but then, church in the way that you felt maybe ostracized from those people because you didn't agree with what you saw, that made you question. I see that.
Right.
But what if you worked in fast food?
I never had. No, in
Really?
fact, I
Like,
wouldn't. I wouldn't say that fair food. I couldn't do that. I couldn't. You know what I'm saying? Like my drive wouldn't let me do it. Like I found IT through accounting, through wanting to be an accountant, through business management, then accounting. Then when I started doing IT as a backup job, I'm like, this is it. And
how
then I
did
just
you end up doing IT from accounting?
working at the credit union. I worked in credit unions. So I got into the back office of credit unions, and then I found out there was other positions like mail banking, Fed, stuff like that, and those were early adopters of computing. So then I started working with those and setting those up. and then I just like sidelined into a backup computer operator position at an ATM reconciliation. So it's accounting,
No.
and so then I said then I
So
had
you're
to
dealing
set
with
up
the
the
money.
entire
When you deal
yeah.
with the money, you're highly respected in that way. Like,
You don't get the money. Money come later, but yeah.
but you're dealing with money, so
Right.
it's like it's kind of important. You know what I mean?
Right. But this is
Kind
like
of
that.
seen as
Yeah.
important.
But that's what I'm saying. This was my job always because the thing I wanted to do was I wanted to work with my hands and help people and be creative.
And okay, so how does IT lend itself to being creative? I get how you're working with your hands. I get
Solutions.
how you're helping people.
Solutions. We have to
Oh,
create solutions, documents. If somebody wants to do something, I'm listening to what you want to do, and I'm trying to figure out exactly we could do it that way, this way, or this way. You know what I'm
oh.
saying? And then
I
I'm gonna
thought
give you the
IT was pretty
options.
straightforward. I thought like you just really just had to figure out what it was. There's no creativity. You got to like just figure out what it is.
Sometimes you gotta figure out beautiful solutions.
So there's different ways to do the same thing
Yeah,
and
yeah. We
fix
were doing it
problems
last
in
night.
IT.
We were just talking about last night on your Mac, and you were telling me one way to do it, and you said no, you do it like this. Right? There's always
Oh,
another way to do something,
but
and we
I
could.
feel like when you're working, like even with my current job, it's like there's people show us when they're training us different ways of getting to the same result.
Right,
I don't consider that creativity. I consider that two different pathways in the software to the same result. That's not
right,
creativity. The creativity is like um, coming up with something that can even be outside of that. But you have to work within the confines of this software to get
right,
this thing.
right. Yeah. I mean, like even take like right now, setting up this screen. You telling me like, oh, you can do this, and this. I'm like, no, I want to do the big way. I want to use what
Oh
the
yeah,
big
I was just
guys
like, do the
use.
simple way if it's too complicated for you because
Yeah,
I don't
it's
understand it
complicated.
anyway.
I don't understand. I'm learning though. I like learning about it and then having to
I'm
learn.
happy that you like learning about it. That is great. I love that for you. I love that you're taking time out to do what you love. I mean, there's nothing more happy to me in life than there's some huge hornets flying around.
Are you
It's a good
nervous?
thing I'm wearing my essential oils. Actually, they never come and bother me anyway, but I'm wearing my essential oils. I prepared myself to come out here
Mm-hmm.
and be out here. I wanted a nice background for this conversation.
You
It's
did.
pretty quiet.
You did. Well,
But
because
anyway,
you on there.
I love that you huh?
No, it's saying you. I'm seeing. I'm talking technical. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
I love that you're doing what you
Mm-hmm.
love. That nothing makes me feel better or happier for people than to know that they're happy to do what they're doing and spend the time doing what they're doing. I really, I even consider that a prerequisite. Like when I'm in dating, if you want to call it that, um, I need to know if someone is happy with their life.
Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right, and I think that's one of the things I realized about me in this last this last run, like 4 years. I just realized that I haven't really been happy in a long time, and I'm not gonna be happy, and I'm not ever gonna be happy again unless I get this thing straight. You know what I'm saying?
You're not
Like,
happy right now.
no, now, no. As a video, I want to show. I do a food for thought normally on this one, but we're already doing our own thing, so we're gonna keep on because this feels authentic. But
Yeah, that's why I'm like, well, you don't need all this extra fuel for the fire. Like our
yeah,
conversations are really just they are that. They are that.
yeah. I forgot what I was gonna say. I was saying say about being authentic.
You about being happy. I said, are you happy
Oh yeah,
now?
no, the video about peace. Right. There's a Shaolin master I've been following. Usually from my food for thought section. But he was talking about the guy asked him, "Are you happy?" And he went about like that's a difficult question, right? Because happiness you got to attain happiness, but you always there's something's gonna make you're gonna be down, and then you're gonna be up. So
Yeah.
happiness that's very hard to attain. Peace,
Mm.
peace is what I strive for in every way. And I like, oh shit, that's one of my favorite verses in the Bible. Like I still know it. Like I studied. That's how I got out of religion. I studied it. So is seek peace, pursue it. You heard it
Mm.
before? That just came in my
No,
head every single time I'm going through something, and I'm trying.
that's
It's not. I'm
beautiful.
looking for health. I'm not looking for happiness. I'm just looking for peace. In
Mm.
my first marriage, I said I can't have any peace. Can I just get a minute? Can we get a minute? I understand you need to talk after I come home, but I just worked 8 hours at
Were you
IT.
able to communicate that to her so that you were able to get that?
Wasn't
So
peaceful.
how
Let's
did it
just talk
normally
about
go?
it. She needed to talk. She needed to talk. You remember the thing about women need so many words a day? You heard that before?
I've heard it.
Like men will run out of words. Like
I
I'm using like
probably use 10 times. I probably use
you talking about
2.5 to 10 times more than the average woman.
right, but
But
you talk about something I like, I can probably listen to it. But if you talking about bullshit, I can't listen to
yeah,
it.
but also I learned to have different people to talk to because
Mm-hmm.
that was another thing. I think
Mm-hmm.
yesterday you and I had a long conversation. We talked about relationships, and you said something to me that I would have been offended by, but I think I don't know. Maybe I'm impervious. Maybe I'm just really
You don't listen
impervious
to
to.
you don't listen to me.
You
Go ahead.
told me that I don't have nesting or settled down energy.
It has
That's
to
what
be
you said.
energy too.
Let's go ahead and address that later. But
Okay.
you said that in the conversation that we had about relationships. And another thing I want to reflect upon in these relationships, because you've had very serious, deep, you get so super involved and
Mm-hmm.
get housed with and marry a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people. Meanwhile,
Mm-hmm.
me, I have relationships that are more definitely spiritual and soul and emotional connections. It's never
Mm-hmm.
been a problem for me to have that, but they're usually long distance. They're usually somewhat ambiguous or not titled, and they're yes, I have lived with people. Yes, I have had titles and been boyfriend girlfriend, but it's not been like that. But
Right.
and then in us trying to understand why this may have been, and me reflecting on my experiences of them and explaining it to you, this didn't come up yet. But dang, what was I going to say? Um, uh, you said I don't have nesting energy. You said I don't have settled down energy.
Maybe you
You kept
never
saying
you gave it off.
happiness, authentic. Oh, the talking. I realize through some of the relationships that I have had. Oh, yes, I've had the boyfriend girlfriend title thing, but sometimes they've been like super short lived, like
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks, 6 weeks, 3 months, whatever. And so therefore I'll be like, those don't even count. But I say that to say I learn through reflection, and it doesn't happen even when the person's telling you. I didn't get it until years later
Mm-hmm.
because now I know now mental health is popularized. Now I'm in therapy. Then I get the diagnosis and everything's coming together.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's coming together. 10 years later, 8 years later, it's all coming together. And I realize, oh, I am a verbal processor and I must process verbally. That means I have to talk. Like I have to talk in order to even know what I think. You know what I'm saying? I got to say it out loud. Like writing is another form of it.
Mm-hmm.
Singing and like feeling music that actually like resonates with me is another form of it.
Mm-hmm.
But usually it's through conversation, which is why conversation is so vital to me and why I think I've learned to be great at it.
Mm-hmm.
But this is something that could cause an issue in a relationship if I don't know myself. And if
Right.
I don't know that I need to verbally process, and I probably, if the person I'm with works 8 to 10, whatever hours, and and then needs to have their at least 2 to 4 hours of unwinding time, after a day like that,
Mm-hmm.
and if I have a free day, I need 4 hours of verbal processing time. If I have a busy day, I might need to process even more intensely if I didn't get to talk enough that day, or whatever the case may be. Like it's all math, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And it's all ratios and it's all relative. And it's all about me knowing, like, if I try to put and dump everything that I need to say onto that one individual, is not going to match up and the math will not math. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
In terms of how much downtime they need and in terms of how much verbal processing time I need.
Right. Right.
So I've learned to have more than one person to verbally process with and not think that whoever my main partner would be at the time
Mm-hmm.
would be the only one who can do that for me. I'm going to have my friends online. I'm going to send them voice notes. My friends that I've met in other countries, I'm going to send them voice notes. I'm going to do videos and maybe just verbally process to myself or to my audience or whatever. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to have other friends. Therefore, we can have more, as they say in Espanol, balance. We can have more balance. You know what I'm saying? Instead of me dumping everything into this vessel, which
Uh-huh.
can't handle it, I'm going to dump it into, you know, the world.
So you consider yourself
And then,
open.
huh?
You consider yourself open then, sort of. Because a lot of you things you said, a lot of guys won't allow it. You know what I'm saying? Like you got this guy, this guy. And they're
Oh,
not
anybody
platonic.
who
They're
I
platonic,
no,
yeah. But
anybody who I've been with, they would. I can. I don't think I've ever been with anybody who didn't want me to at least have friends I could talk to. Like,
good for you.
I mean, that's in fact. I just know. I know that was one of the frustrations that even if they didn't say it technically like that, they couldn't remain on the phone with me long enough that would satisfy me. They couldn't give me enough feedback that would satisfy me. You know what I'm saying? Whatever would be the indicator. They don't have enough time to spend with me. Whatever would be the indicator that they could not be the only vessel for me to verbally process with, it would show up in the relationship. But I've never had them come back and be like, I don't want you to have friends to talk to. In fact, it'll almost be like the opposite, like encouraging me and wanting me to have a social life because they could probably sense, again, without saying it explicitly, that, hey, and then, but you know what it ends up feeling like when you don't have all that understanding and context? Oh, she's too much. And so I may internalize the message, I'm too much. Then I internalize something's wrong with me. And instead of just, it's just not a match and I need to find other ways and other places to put that energy.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying? And it ain't got to be any romance, like nothing else has to happen. I just have to find other places. It could be a therapist. You know what I'm saying? Like it just needs to be other people. And I need to make sure that I have a fresh, this is going to sound terrible, fresh batch of people to talk to. But now I know how to manage me. I feel like I'm an expert at it now. You know what I'm saying? Everybody gets a piece of me who I allow it, and nobody gets too much because I also know, because another thing I would think that didn't need, again, this goes back to our situation when I woke up and you left, like I didn't know how to ask for space when I needed it, because here I am. If most of the messages I'm getting when I'm trying to form relationships and stuff is that I'm too much, I'm never thinking that I also need space and to be alone and to not talk to anybody and to recharge. Oh, because now people are popularizing introvert, extrovert, you know, not just now, but I'm saying at the time of my development and growth throughout this time frame. Oh, I'm an extrovert, so that means I need to talk to people. That means, and not knowing that I also have introvert aspect that I need to be alone too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you don't know yourself. It can be such a weird balancing act. It can be such a hard path. Imagine if I knew about the ADHD brain at the age of 8 and all of its strengths and all of its challenges instead of learning about it at 38.
Yeah.
All that suffering for no reason.
True. Because you were different. In a good way. You were different in a good way. That's that energy attracted me. So let me so do you think you're living authentically today? If somebody asks you that, what is what? Give me your definition of living authentically. What do you think that is to you?
So I thought about this before this conversation because I wanted to be cool and deep and wise and sage-like and give an analogy. So I just cut my hair, right? Like I cut it. I don't know if you remember from yesterday. And like I put a little bit of color, like wax around the edges because I was like, I don't want it to be boring. It's too boring. I want to spice it up. And so I cut it and I was trying to get it to be like completely round. And so I put a wave cap on it. That's why it looks like very like rounded. Right. But it kept looking like rectangular the whole time. And I was like, how can I get it to be round? And I just kept cutting. And I was like, is my head shaped like a light bulb? Like my sister used to call me Peanut Head, by the way. She used to actually have, I think, a song. No, she had a song for me called Puffball Head. My hair has always been an issue. Like my hair is gorgeous, by the way. It's matte, thick and rich and black, and it's all the same texture pretty much all the way around, which a lot of people cannot say. They got like different textures in their head. My hair is amazing. So I say that to say, she also used to call me Peanut Head. Now I'm wondering, like, is my head shaped like a peanut? Because it doesn't seem to be able to get round. So I just kept cutting and cutting and cutting. And I realized, because I've seen other women whose head is shaped like a perfect semicircle on the top. They have a low buzz cut and it's perfectly round. and it looks perfectly like round, like a dome. And I'm like, I'm trying to achieve that, but my head is not shaped that way.
Right.
So if I keep cutting, trying to get to something that I saw in somebody else, trying to fit what somebody else has and try to fit it to me without knowing myself and how I'm designed, then I am just going to end up with a light bulb, peanut shaped, you know what I'm saying, situation, because I didn't know myself and because I'm trying to look at someone else outside of myself and achieve what they've achieved. So I think the analogy is that for living authentically, like, I believe I'm living authentically because I've taken the time to get to know myself, and I'm agnostic about myself. I don't truly know everything, but I do experiment and I do try to recognize patterns, and I do try to remember and take a lot of notes, not just notes as in journaling, but talk to, verbally process so I can remember and internalize in my body what feels right and wrong and what worked and what didn't. So I do attempt to go in that direction and listen to my body and reference what I remember that I have expressed works and doesn't work in different situations. So in that case, yes, I would definitely say I'm living authentically because it's based on self-knowledge, knowledge of self, and going in that direction that you're pulled almost from inside. You know what I'm saying? Like you're pulled, not externally pulled, but it's something like, for instance, when I was supposed to go to Mexico City, which I was supposed to be there. Like there's no way I wasn't supposed to be there, when everything worked so perfectly, even though I got sick and I moved through it. Even though I had a terrible day at the airport one day, it was the worst, most crazy situation ever. Like I think it was like July 17th last year, the day of the Microsoft shortage,
Oh, right.
that
The
all the flights were canceled. One of my flights was
Percy,
canceled.
the
I was
thing.
sick that day. I had diarrhea that day in the airport. I had body aches. I almost had visions, and like I was so weak. And I was in the airport navigating all of this, and I wanted to go see my family in Phoenix, Arizona, and it wasn't going to happen. And it was a full moon that day too. And I came back home that day. I even spent a couple of hours resting at a hotel nearby because they were trying to like get me to go to Houston instead and route me through another flight, and it didn't work. At the end of the day, the flights were just canceled, and I wasn't going to get to go, and I had to remain in Mexico City. Even through that, I remained so cool, calm, and collected. I didn't snap. I remained faithful, and there was even a point where someone took my passport and like walked away with it, and I don't know if they would have came back and found me or made a mistake and lost it, and I could have been really SOL. But I say that to say, out of that crazy day, I returned home. I was home by like 6:21 p.m. or something like that. And I just woke up the next day, and it was like nothing ever happened. And so what I mean is, the things that would have caused me to break or snap in another place, I don't know why in Mexico, I was just able to just like just be and chill. It was just such a place that drew out of me. So something in me pulled me there. Like it wasn't just, oh, someone wants me to come somewhere, so I'm gonna go. It's like, no, I already connected with something there, and that thing in me, and that whatever's happening there has to meet. It has to meet. And it was always there on a string. And then somehow, some way, I'm finally gonna make it there and go there. And so that's what I mean by like, it's not just you're just being pulled in all these different directions, although it can really look super messy and crazy sometimes. And it may not make sense. Like a lot of like, even, I'm from Columbia, South Carolina, so even going to New York, people don't understand it. They're like, why are you going to New York? And for me, it was so obvious. I'm like, going to New York to live. You think I'm going to stay here? Are you crazy? Like, why aren't you going to New York? Like, this is such a dumb question. Right? Like, I didn't understand. Yeah, I didn't understand. And I'm just like, I get it. It doesn't matter. Why are you going to Mexico? Like, now people kind of get it because people are popularizing it online about leaving the country and the things that are happening here. People want to leave, and now people kind of get it. But I still have people in my life. Well, they're not really in my life, in my life like that, but they're like somewhat there on the peripheral. And I've spoken to them, and they just seem skeptical about it. It's just like, it's so weird. Like, why wouldn't you want to just go somewhere that you can go? Like, I mean, does it really matter where? I feel like the world is open to us all, and we should explore it as much as possible if
I
we
agree.
desire. Why
Mhm.
why stay in one place? I mean, you've already been there. You've already been in the place that you've been. So why not? Why would you want to continue to be there
I don't know
and not
either.
explore other places? I stayed in New York way too long. I stayed in South Carolina way too long. But it seems like everything is working out in divine timing. That's another thing about living authentically. I mean, it may not always look even and feel to you like right or
Mhm.
desirable, but you really just have to. Oh, look at that cat! Sorry, I'm a little distracted
Squirrel.
because I don't know if it's looking at me. Anyway, so
You look marvelous. It's looking at you.
probably, but yeah. So I say that to say, living authentically, it's like peeling an onion.
Right.
It's like peel. It's like the
Right.
layers, and it never ends. It never ever ends.
So how do we build up I guess the mask? You know what I mean? Like what's stopping us from living authentically? Society? Like we also like I would say for myself, one thing that I think kept me in the trap that I was in was that anytime that I was trying to get out of the trap I was in, I had to be something else for someone else. Like I never really got the time just to be me.
Because you always tried to do it through relationships. That's why. I mean, I feel like you just use relationships to save you because it's so easy for you to get into them for whatever reason. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like
Yeah, you're right. You 100% right. I was the struggle bond king. I would struggle you and
the
wrap you in
struggle
me,
bond.
and then you had to escape.
Please explain what that means.
The
Because
struggle
that can
bond?
now that can go viral. The struggle bond
It's
king.
a, it's
Please
a thing.
explain.
It's a real thing. The struggle bond. Joe Budden
Please
did told me
explain.
with it.
Please
So
explain.
basically, the struggle bond is basically if you're going through something, like you're having a hard time with something, and then someone else is having a hard time too, then that's when you get with them and you guys just help each other through that hard time, and then you ultimately, if you're on the other side of it, you believe that you guys were bonded because you guys went through all the struggles together. But then once you get out of the struggle, I may not like you for real because I never really got to know you. I knew the struggle,
Oh,
but then once you're out of the struggle, you change. And then now you thinking that like, wow, I kind of gotta go, but I owe you so much.
I
Or
kind
what's
of gotta
you know what I
go.
mean? Like I'm gonna die here. You know, if I don't get out of this situation, but I can't because I'm loyal.
But wait, what makes the situation so bad now that you're out of the struggle? Wouldn't the situation be better? Wouldn't the relationship improve?
No, because I don't know you. All I know is the struggle. That's the
Oh,
difference
you know,
outside the
you know
struggle.
the version of the
Life is
person who was
good.
struggling.
Right. Like if I like
Oh,
going to let's go extreme, right? I get out the struggle. I ain't never been able to go to a strip club again. I went a couple times before, but then I couldn't go no more. But now I'm out of struggle. Now I want to go to strip club all the time. But you don't know that. Now you mad.
well, I
Why
mean,
you
but
ain't say
wait,
you
but
want to go to
wait.
strip club?
So is the struggle just the money part?
Mm-mm. It could be the emotion too. You know what I'm saying? Like I like to be alone. Like I was telling you about that. I was telling you about that time, right? Like when I get home, I don't want to really talk to you for a while. You know
Okay,
what I'm saying? Like
okay,
I need to decompose, get myself
decompress.
to eat, rest, and then
Okay, that makes sense. That
some
makes sense.
people are like, I gotta talk to you now. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay,
no, I don't have to talk to you every day now. No, I don't. I
okay.
don't want to. So that type of thing.
Okay. And I think you and I talked about this particular relationship where this happened. I think it happened in more than one relationship, but you told me about a particular relationship where it happened and it was more recent. And
Hmm.
I asked you, because now you know yourself, now you know what you need. And now there's also a lot of information floating out online about this need that you
Hmm.
talk about, needing to decompress. So were you able to convey that to the person so that they
Never.
could just what did you say instead? Did you just get upset and leave or
Let me see. I don't think I was able to convey it. You talking about the recently when I just broke up with Kim, right? Where I
I
was
think
at.
so.
Yeah. No, I was not able to convey it because it wasn't what she wanted.
So she
I
wasn't trying to hear it. She didn't really care about your
didn't really
needs.
give a fuck. That's what I'm saying. It's a struggle bond. You don't really give a fuck. You just latch on to somebody because they can get you to the next step. And then once you get to the next step, all bets are off.
Oh
Now we
wow.
get into a war. That happens too. That's happened too. Like it turns to a war. Like somebody don't want you to leave, and like You know what I'm saying? Then it's like they're attacking you. You can't leave, and that turns violent and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
I've been there a few times. Struggle. Be a Captain Stable. Be a Captain Stable.
Hmm.
So it's like now, like that RA relationship anarchy got something to do with that too. You are relationship anarchy, baby, in my life. That's what I know. Um,
Okay, okay, wait. Let's before you just skate on through the statement, I really want to break it down because we talked about relationship anarchy yesterday, but I think
mhm,
as often happens in conversations where and a lot of misunderstandings happen because of this, people
mhm,
are saying the same word, but they mean different things to each person talking.
right.
So what do you mean by that? Because I want to
Mhm.
know if it fits what I think about myself.
Oh no, it's not. Well,
What do
this
you
is
mean
on
by
me though. It's not
relationship
you.
anarchy?
You've always been yourself and honest, 100%, right? Um, but normally, like you curved me very early, right? Like it wasn't.
Okay, but we talked about this and
I know, it
but you
wasn't a real
never
curve because I
said
never came out like
anything.
that, right? But
There
I
was
saw the
nothing to
energy,
curve.
right? It was I could tell the energy, right? So I just adjusted myself to
You
the
felt
energy,
curved. You felt
right?
curved.
And I
Okay.
adjusted myself to the energy, and some would say that I may have became a sim for you. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just gonna be here for you
How?
regardless. No, really, no, nothing devastating like that though. Like Heidi, you remember? She clearly had an issue with your age because she thought that you was gonna like just run me ragged. You know what I'm saying? Like she was always looking for a time that you was gonna ask me for $5,000 or something crazy like that. She was just waiting for that to happen.
$5,000 would have ran you ragged?
No. I'm just saying, like she knew that that was coming. Like in her mind, that
Which
was
is so
coming
funny
because
that
you were
she
so
knew. Some
young.
people it
Because
never
you were so
came.
young at the time. Right, that's what I'm saying. It never came because you were so young at the time. That's how her mind clicked. She's from New York. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody got to hustle in New York.
That's so funny. I do find that to be true in certain cities that I go to, like New Orleans or New York. Like it is, people definitely saw me as naive because I didn't always think that somebody was trying to hustle me. Like
Right.
I never really thought that because it's just not what I would do. So I didn't think people were trying to do that to me. So not only did I give money to people who were probably lying and stuff, and that still happens to me,
Mm-hmm.
but I also just didn't have that belief. And then I also didn't want to have that belief system. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
yeah, no.
It's a hustle city. Um. So that was always
It's a
so.
hustle world. It's a
It's
hustle
a hustle,
world.
right? Get money, and to survive actually now. But that was always the thought that that's why and when I say relationship anarchy is because basically if that had happened to me in any other type of any type of thing, I would immediately just cut you and run. Like you know what I'm saying? What's up? I ain't really doing this. But because I'm feeling like there's no I want to say reciprocity, but that ain't the word I want to use. There was no because there wasn't any need for reciprocity. There was a like okay, so there's basically like am I being a simp? You know what I mean? Am I being
Well, what's a
because
simp?
you know what a simp is? A
I,
simp
I
is
feel like
a
I
simp
feel
is
okay.
the
There's
guy who
two.
follows a woman because she doesn't she's just leading him on. She just don't really want to be with him, but he's good for a purpose. So the
Okay,
dude
so
believes in
that
like,
there's by definition of our relationship, there's no way that could have ever happened
that's
because
what I'm
that
saying.
didn't
No, that's what I'm
happen.
saying. Right, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I say you're my
So you were
RA baby
questioning
because
were you something that based on your own definition was impossible because it didn't happen.
outside eyes looking in, outside eyes looking in, not. But then I still have to like know. Then I still have to really look at my own behavior though too. Like was I being the same? Was I like you know what I'm saying? Like friendship is possible between men and women, but a lot of people say it's not, right? Because there's a such thing as it's called a slow walker, those type of things.
What's that?
A slow walker. All right, so the older man would hang around a younger woman, right, and just slowly walk her into whatever situation he trying to walk her into. You know what I'm saying? There's always be
Oh,
like an uncle, like it's like, you get real like stupid, like an older man in a family always treat a younger woman nicely because he's eventually gonna try something
Try
slow.
to be a predator or something.
Right. It's
No,
slow walker.
that's like utterly disgusting. I definitely don't think that was the nature of our
No,
friendship.
no. I'm saying though. So I'm saying though. I'm saying when I say you're my RA baby because I don't have. When I think of relationship anarchy, this is relationship anarchy, right? It's
Because
basically
I'm a woman, and because in your mind, friends
nah. You
aren't
can't. Nah,
don't exist
you don't have
between
to
men
be a
and
woman,
women.
but I don't have many friends.
So why is it under the category of relationship anarchy? Because I thought relationship anarchy was no titles.
Right. That's how to step back. I had to step back and do that. Not look for a title. Anybody used to call you little my little homie, and you got mad.
Well, I don't remember that, but I guess now that
Yeah.
you bring it up, I could see myself not wanting to be called that. Just like I don't want to be called bruh. I don't want to be called. I
Right.
think one of my friends called me brethren, and I'm just like, dude, I'm not a dude. Like, don't call
That's
me
very
brethren.
wrong.
So now he never calls me that. It's just like
Right.
it's a respect thing.
Okay. Yeah. So that was like that's like me just like just being like getting used to the whole thing about when I say something like this, when I say at work wives, right? Work wives were work wives. They were just work wives. That was the title they got, and that's who they were. That was it, right? And I was saying like the one work wife I had at my last job, at least like when I was still married, was somebody who I was with like every day and had a good relationship with. And actually, we was non monogamous, and I didn't find out later that we could have dated because I never just took it there because we worked together. But she was waiting for me to make a move, and I never made the move, which is probably a good thing. That's what I'm trying to say. Like
Yeah, because
keeping
wouldn't it have been messy?
why how it did get messy because a whole
Huh?
other woman got involved.
What?
It did get messy from a whole other woman and
That's what I'm
another
saying. I feel
woman.
like all your relationships are messy. So it's just I don't know.
Yep. Nah, not really. Not really. Me and Heidi wasn't messy. We wasn't messy.
Really?
Yeah. I'm telling you, without the maybe
I don't
maybe
think
you see
you
things
can say
differently.
without the thing that was there. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
I
a
know.
fantasy. Like
Well, maybe it was messy then in that case. But
sounds like
those
every
were
time
good
you talk
times.
to me about your relationships, there's always some huge
That's
like
my whole
fallout.
life.
Now I don't. Okay, so is it just the way that you're explaining it, and it's just from your point of view, or was it really that much drama?
You have to ask them, but there was drama, but there was peace. You know what I'm
No, I
saying?
know there
Like
were peaceful moments, but was it really drama, like the way you've been describing it?
not in the way that normal people have it. Like we didn't have the whole like cheating and all that kind of shit. None of that. We didn't have that at all.
You didn't have that because you took that element out because you decided
Not
to be
monogamous.
open and have that agreement coming in the front,
Right.
and being upfront about that. But there was other drama, right? There was other drama. The
There's
power
other dynamics like
struggle.
people who sometimes the people I would choose to go out with or who I would choose for us to go out with.
I'm not
But
just
nothing,
talking about
no
with.
money, no money, no job,
I'm talking about
no.
all your relationships. Weren't
Oh,
I mean
I don't have a
all
lot of
of them?
relationships. I don't really count but two. Because the other
Oh,
ones are
I
just
thought
like
that you were
situationships.
married twice and then
I
had other
was.
relationships outside of
I
that.
was married twice. I'm not counting marriage as one. I was married. That was a
Wait,
school bond.
so you said that you've only had two relationships?
What I mean is two relationships where I really felt a connection and I want to be with this person the rest of my life. Period.
Oh, that's not. Oh, okay. See, that's what I'm saying. We got to talk. We got to like really understand meanings. If you're saying
Mm-hmm.
relationships,
Mm-hmm. Romantic
but
relationships.
the part that you're not saying is the relationships where I felt I wanted to be with the person the rest of my life. How am I supposed to know that when you
Okay.
say,
I
"Oh,
wasn't living
relationship"?
authentically. That's what I'm trying to. That's what this whole thing is about. I wasn't being me. So a lot of relationships that I got
Okay, so
in,
you've
I
only had
wouldn't have gotten
two
in.
authentic relationships.
Right. Where I was really with myself as much as I
Okay,
could be at the time, but then
okay.
the one
But
element left out.
that's what I'm saying. But you've had how many relationships have you had? Period.
Possible. That's a number. I don't know.
Exactly.
I
At
had
least.
eight. I counted. I wrote in the paper that I had eight relationships in 4 years.
Okay. So with that said, you've had several relationships that have
Several.
had drama,
Yes.
and that's what I'm saying.
But I wasn't living my authentic self because if I was, I wouldn't have gotten those relationships.
That makes sense. But I'm just trying to I'm trying to corroborate all the things I've ever heard you tell me
Right, I know.
in this conversation and try to make sense of it so I can come to a conclusion. Like you say, it's the story of your life to have drama in these relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And then you come back and say, well, I've only had 2 relationships. That doesn't make sense. But if you say, oh, I've only had 2 authentic relationships, well, that makes sense. And the rest of them have been filled with drama. And even some of the authentic ones have been filled with drama. Okay, that makes sense.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. But the authentic ones related to drama was just my addiction. It wasn't anything else. Because everything else was like on
Drama
point.
was what?
Just my addiction. I mean, everything else was like we
Oh,
were peak with. Like we had similar interests, do the same thing. We could talk about things. Money wasn't a problem.
mm,
Hanging out, living together wasn't a problem.
mm. Like managing the day-to-day
Yeah,
household
day
things.
day was beautiful, beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
beautiful. And then that's the thing though. But the other relationships, mm-mm. If I live
Right.
with them, I didn't want to live with them. You know what I mean? Like I gotta get out of here. You're
So
crazy.
I guess okay. So what's beautiful to kind of ask now, I think, is what happens next. What made those authentic relationships different, and how can you ensure that the next relationship that you'll have will be authentic?
Mm-hmm. I'm living my truth. I know my truth. I'm living my truth, and then recognize when something is trying to pull me from my truth. That's the friction, and that friction for me is anxiety.
Okay, so you feel anxiety
A lot.
when you're around someone who
Yes.
is trying to. What do you mean trying to pull you from the truth? They try to they don't validate what you've said about yourself. They try to tell you who you
That's what
are.
you don't like about me. They tell me, why you do that? I don't like it. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
okay, yeah, they'll tell me I don't like it. Like all of a sudden, it'll be like we okay. Then all of a sudden, they'll just come out with this. Why don't you do this?
yeah.
Why do
They
you do
slowly
that?
start trying to change
Right,
you. So
right.
you're
Like
saying you've only
only.
had two. You're saying you've had 2 relationships where the person didn't try to change you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow. So what were okay? So what were the 2 relationships?
Well, my wife Heidi at that time, and then
Uh,
I had another relationship with a young lady in Atlanta, Ayana. I was
mhm.
very like Ayana. Yeah, I went down. We it just like from the groups, the
Yeah.
Holly Black dating group. So yeah, I went down there. I don't. It was very short lived because I fucked up. I get emotional about it. So yeah, when we went down there, we were both geeks. And we were having that conversation. We were talking like off and on. Our communication styles were the same. We were both geeks. We went on Dragon Con together, like a Comic Con type thing, and had a great time. And but the addiction, like I said, messed it up. So I don't even know. Like we had that you've had that conversation with someone, and it's like, oh, yeah, we're gonna be together. It's just like, and that from there it just goes automatically into, we're gonna be together. And that's just
Yeah.
it.
I don't know what that's like.
Because there's no friction. Because we're going in the same direction, I guess. Because you don't know where you're going. I'm
What do
not
you
saying
mean?
that to be mad. Do you know where you're going? That's the question. I'm sorry. Do you know where you're
We're
going?
going where? What, you mean
That's
like
what I'm saying.
physically going
Exactly.
today, or
No, in
going in my
life.
life career wise, or
No. Just in anything. Why? In the next 5 years, where do you see yourself? I think that's an important question to be able to answer.
and I think it isn't.
Right.
I think it's just
Right.
like something that you heard someone say,
Mm-mm.
and you have heard someone say
Of
it.
course,
You've heard
you
someone ask
have
that
that in the
question
job all the
before.
time. But I'm just saying, I still think it's an important question to have
I
in my
think it's
life
because, well, the thing
in
is,
some direction.
why does it matter? Because if someone had
I
asked you
just
5 years
saying.
ago where you thought you would be, would it have made a difference in where you actually ended up?
No, I was an addict on drugs. I was in the
Exactly.
street
Exactly.
dying. But I
Exactly.
couldn't. That was bad. That was bad. Not having that direction. I guess maybe
What I'm
because I'm a
saying
man,
is,
I'm
what
a
does it
male.
matter if
Everything
you
I got my
ask the
energy.
question or not when the answer could always change?
Can't always. I mean, you change based on situation. I may change my situation, but no. What I'm getting ready to do now for the next 5 years, that's what I'm doing. I'm not doing anything else. That's what I'm
That's
trying to
what you
say.
hope to do, but like you
Right.
said,
Well, I
you
hope
could have
I'm gonna
answered,
continue to work in that direction. There's no plan B, so that's what I'm doing. Unless I run
which is
into
what?
a wall. What I'm doing right now.
Which is what? You're doing a lot of
Building.
okay, right now you're sitting here talking to me on this
Trying to build a
podcast,
media
but that's not all
company.
you do
Trying to build
every
a media
single day.
company. turned into a also a camper
But
van conversion company. I've been
you've
wanting to
been
do it.
wanting to do that for more than 5 years.
Right.
So
Exactly.
anytime somebody would have asked you this question even 5 years ago, what would it have mattered if you told them this beautifully packaged answer and they would have gotten with you based on how they like the
I wouldn't
answer?
have told them that answer though. I wouldn't have gave you that answer. I didn't have that answer.
I knew you since longer than 5 years ago, and
Mm-hmm.
podcasting is something you were doing even then,
Trying to.
and you wanted to grow it.
Right. But I never did it. I was doing the whole like, DJ business thing. But I'm saying though,
No,
okay,
you
what
weren't
you're
a
saying is
DJ
right.
when I met you.
What you're
You
saying
weren't a
is
DJ
right.
when I met you. You were not a DJ when I met you. You weren't doing that actively at the time.
No, right. 2012? I guess it was 2012 then. 2013. Because right, before that we were doing it pretty often. It was 2012. Right.
I just think that I don't think you realize how offensive it is for you to tell me
really?
I don't know where I'm going.
I don't mean to be offensive. I don't see that. Let's see why you're taking offense to it. I'm just,
Because
I'm taking offense.
it's a really dumb thing to say. Like, who are you to say that?
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about me.
I thought you were talking about.
Now everything says for me, not for you. Right? Your journey is your journey. Your truth is your
No,
truth.
I said I don't have those kind of conversations, and I wouldn't know. And you said because you don't know where you're going.
Okay.
That's what you said. You were talking about me.
You're right. That was incorrect. That wasn't trying to put that on you.
Okay, so let's go back to because no, I still want to dig into this. Right, while I have 12% on my tablet. Right.
Okay.
All right. So you said because I don't know where I'm going, and you also told me that I don't have nesting or settle down energy. So you said things that convey these types of things about me before. Like even if you go back and try to walk it back, as people say, and correct it, you're saying things that convey that to you, which is really ironic coming from you, that you think that I am directionless and don't seem to be grounded and all of these things. I want to know why. Like, where is this coming from? Because maybe if you think this, other people think this too, and maybe that's why I'm not having these conversations. I want to know, what is it that I'm doing? What is it about me that conveys these things to you?
Okay. I don't really have. Okay, so I can say this. So I don't have these thoughts about you when I talk to you until you bring it up. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't. I think you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. I think you do live a very authentic life, and you're moving at the speed that you're supposed to be moving at. Right. So when you ask a question and it doesn't sound rhetorical, as a man, I'm giving you an answer. Right, from what I see, but I could be wrong because I'm only basing it upon my truth. Right.
Okay. How does your truth make you answer that question in that way in the moment?
Because I'm trying to give you an answer, right?
But why that answer? It doesn't help any answer, but it is that.
It doesn't help you.
Well, it helps me because it's helping me. It's helping me because I'm digging deeper and I'm curious about why. So I'm asking you why. So what makes you say that in the moment, even if you think twice about it? But what makes you say that in the first place?
I guess. So I guess for me, just being on this journey that I've been on, and then to see like where I am right now, and it seemed like if I don't have a direction to go in, then I don't really know what I'm doing every day, right? Because I got to fill up my day. Like, I'm job hunting right now. The economy is bad, and I'm having a hard time actually landing a job at this time, which I've never had in a long time. So it's kind of different. So for me to stay focused and on point, I keep putting that in my head. Like, what's my 5-year plan? What am I doing? What's my plan A? Am I doing what I need to do? Well, if I'm doing what I need to do to reach my next goal, right? So in my head, if someone else isn't doing that too, then I may like thinking that you're
even though
off.
they're not in the same situation that you're in.
Right. I don't. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I can only talk for my situation, right? I'm only talking for me, right?
And so basically you're projecting.
Could be perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, well, I'm not in the same situation that you're in. I don't have an addiction to where I feel like if I don't have that very same situation to where if I don't have that kind of goal so far out in the future that I'm gonna die. Like I don't have that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like my goals are way more short term
Mm-hmm.
for so many reasons. It's like again, look it up, ADHD. The
Mm-hmm.
information is out there. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to look 5 years into the future because everything about my life is way more immediate and
Mm-hmm.
way more in the short term.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of living authentically too, like living more so in the moment. Because when you're faced with everybody's faced with death. You may be faced with your own mortality through certain things and
Mm-hmm.
that you do, certain challenges you face. I could be faced with other people's mortality in my life and how that will affect my life and how it will change. So it's like it's like we have different. I think. Well, I do believe that people usually have the same motivator, but it can look different.
Mm-hmm.
My motivator may be, and some of them may overlap. My motivator may be the ability to earn money in a way that doesn't overtax my brain and that fits with me and still always try to refine that and refine that and
Mm-hmm.
refine that and refine that. You know what I'm saying? It also could be just saving up for my next long-term trip. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It could be a new project that I've decided is worth it to see it through to the end. I mean, I don't know. It's like none of my goals are going to take 5 years to meet. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, it's really like, I don't know what I'm going to be doing in 5 years. Like
Okay.
that's just like a dumb question it's a dumb question to ask me.
Right. Right.
And anybody who's ever asked it knows how dumb it is because I'm probably told them. Or, uh, maybe they've been smart enough not to ask because I just think it's such an arbitrary amount of time.
Right. Right.
Why? Well, every 4 years it's a leap year. Why not ask that? Even you know what I'm saying. The sun and the moon are already predestined to like, our calendar is set up to that every 4 years that we're going to have a leap year.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great amount of time. I mean, what about one calendar year? What about 4 seasons? I mean, there's so many other cycles in nature that you could use. 5 years is not one of them.
Right. Right.
It's just something that somebody made up.
It's
That's why I'm like,
arbitrary.
why should I put that on me? Like, why should I accept that
I mean,
as
I
a
agree.
period of
I agree.
time that I should just try to strive just so that someone else can feel comfortable with what I'm doing, even when I'm doing doesn't even affect them. They're not
Mm-hmm.
helping me do anything I want to do. They're not contributing to anything that I want to do. They
Mm-hmm.
don't even know what interests me, and yet they want to provide a measuring stick against what I want to do in 5 years. It's totally it's so I think it's a very inauthentic question.
Okay. So it's one reason I put it out there. I agree with you. Everything you said for you, I agree with you. But I say for me, it's also a tool of accountability for me. Like if I
For
put that
you.
energy, yeah, for me, I'm saying for me. I'm not talking about for me. So if I put that energy out there, if I say like I'm gonna do this podcast every 2 weeks, and then I make sure I do it every 2 weeks. And there was another video about that same Shaolin guy about commitment. Like we don't know what's gonna happen, but but we do know the commitment. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying. For me, it's also for people that may know me, that are looking at me. It's kind of like when I do the I do the episode. This episode when I do the episode number. I say the episodes. It's episode 958, 9.58. So that's 9 days, 9 episodes, 58 days. That's me being accountable to the audience who I'm talking to, just showing that I'm still on track and I'm being accountable. So if you, so I'm not saying like if you want to, because like yeah, this addiction is real, right? It can kill you. So I'm like, just showing that what I'm doing or what I think I'm doing is working, and I'm still being accountable like, to myself, to what I've said, and then to the people who may be watching this or following this. So that's another reason why I say it. Like my 5 year plan, like it helps me to stay on track because I know that I'm easily distracted. You know what I mean? In the past, like when I get a new relationship or a new toy relationship job, I'm distracted. I'm gone. I'm doing that. I'll just stop my plans. That what happened to me in 2020. I just stopped doing what I was doing. I had I had my intentions and I put them out there, but I just did. And the moment the opportunity presented, I was off to something doing something else, and it wasn't a good move. You know what I'm saying? So I just have for me, I'm just laying down accountability for me, I guess. right?
I think that's
So
wonderful. I will always
Mhm.
support what someone has. I have no problem with someone putting that measurement on themselves, creating 5-year plans, 10-year plans, and measuring themselves against their own measuring stick.
Mhm.
But that's just like somebody else looking at you. It's the same judgment that people look at you and be like, why aren't you in church? There's no way that you can have a relationship with God. There's no way
Mhm.
that you could be spiritually attuned. And it's just like, how dare you say that?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what, like someone said, when's the last time you've been to church?
Never.
Well, you have been to church, so that wouldn't be accurate.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if I really wanted to sit here and judge you on that,
Mhm.
then that would be like my problem. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like,
Y'all gonna feel nothing. Yeah,
that
you're
would
right.
be my problem. That's the same way I feel about the 5-year rule, the 5-year plan. It's like, that has nothing to do with me. Like, that doesn't work for me. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like, that doesn't help me do anything.
Mhm.
I would feel super locked in. That's too long of a period of time. Too much can change in
Mhm.
5 years. But see, that's the thing. Too much can change, but like my my desire to be, I don't know if people realize how active and how minute by like literally second by second the awareness is
Mhm.
that you have after you go through transformation, after you have a diagnosis of ADHD, like after you have taken medication, and there's even daily supplements throughout the day. There's things I have to take to remain in balance. Like, I can't think 5 years when there's things I have to do every single like moment to be aware and to stay, like, if I need to, if something happens and my anxiety goes through the roof, there's like different practices that I need to do to get back into regulation, because emotional dysregulation is part of the diagnosis. So I
Mhm.
have to do things to remain regulated. So I have to make sure that the job that I have to earn money for myself is something that's not going to continually dysregulate me. I have
Mhm.
to make sure that the relationships that I have and the conversations that I and choose to engage in and the activities that I choose to do, and even what I wear, whatever. Like, I cut my hair because my hair was getting too overwhelming. It was just too
Mhm.
long and too thick for me to like feel comfortable, look good, and deal with it the way that it needs to be delicately managed every single day. So I cut it off. It's like
Mhm.
I'm constantly making decisions to make sure that I'm good. So it's like 5 years.
It was
I
out
don't
there.
know.
It's out there.
Tomorrow,
Yeah.
like tomorrow,
Mhm.
I've got to take it day by day. Like,
Mhm.
so what do you see yourself doing tomorrow? Like, I mean, that's a better question, but even that is like, I don't know. Let me think about it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I have plans, but if you ask me what I plan on doing in 4 weeks, I plan on flying to Mexico. I
Right. Right.
know that I'm going to see this person, this person, this person, and I'm going to try to do these types of things. And I'm going to make a decision from there about how I feel about being there at this time of year, so that I can come back, make some other plans, I'm saying, make some other arrangements. Um, and then take it from there. It's like, I know what I'm going to do when I've planned it, but when I haven't planned it, I don't know. And then sometimes I know before I booked this trip, I knew that I was going to have to go back because I had
Mhm.
things there. I knew that I have to go back because I have community there. And I knew that I have to go back because I wanted to go. But it's like, when? I don't know yet. I don't
Okay.
know. I'll know when it's right. And when it's right, I literally had to be on the phone with the airline for over an hour, like an hour
Mhm.
and a half. And I need to do that because booking travel and traveling gives me like a lot of anxiety. But I don't love the travel logistics and like flying, and I don't like that part. But although I want to enjoy it, I want to start enjoying it. But I love arriving. I
Mhm.
love being in the new place. I love knowing that I'm in a different part of the world.
Mhm.
I love that part. So I have to do those parts that make me feel anxious, and that because I have dyslexia as well and I can switch around numbers like easily. Like when I'm looking at numbers and when I'm trying to book trips and I'm looking at dates, and these kinds of things can just be all jumbled up in my mind. And it's
Mhm.
like so much stuff. So it's like when someone asks me about 5 years in the future, it's like, man, it's a battle every day. I'm trying to get through to just let me get through to my next trip. I've got it. I've started 2 new jobs and 3 new positions in the last
Mhm.
4 weeks.
Mhm.
Why? Because in the third role was something that was offered to me that I could have never known was going to be offered to me. I didn't look for it. They came to me. So it's like, how the heck am I supposed to know? Like, it's, you know what they say man makes plans and then God laughs. Somebody
Mm-hmm.
said that. I don't even know if it's in a holy text, but it's definitely true. So it's like, I don't know.
You think it's wrong?
Plans are one thing,
Mm-hmm.
but like the 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 foundation of your life is another. I get it. The foundation that you want to have for your life is sobriety. That's the
Mm-hmm.
main thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sobriety, authenticity, all that.
That's right.
Plans could be where you're going to live. You can live anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Plans are like where you're going to work. You can work anywhere. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like, plans are like what show are you going to do, and what platform are you going to use, and what studio are you going to? It could be anything. All those things are interchangeable. But like,
Mm-hmm.
so when you say you don't know where you're going, that's not true. I
Who
know
said
who
that?
I am. Huh?
Yeah.
Like, I know where I'm going because I know that peace. I know I'm going to be regulated. I know I'm going to be mentally well. I'm going to do everything. Like, that's my goal every day. It's like, if
Mm-hmm.
you had a child that you were raising, and you knew you had to rear that child and be with it day to day to day. And I said it, but be with them day to day to day, and just, they're going to go through all these changes. Like, that's like a given, right?
Right.
Like, do you even need to mention that you're going to be like? That's how I'm raising myself, because you know what? I didn't have the right support that I was supposed to have growing up with
Mm-hmm.
this condition. I didn't know what the heck was wrong with me. I just knew that everything would be going well, and then I'd run into issues constantly and not know why, not know
Mm-hmm.
why I was feeling the way that I felt, not know why I was feeling depressed, not know why I was feeling so much more intensely than everyone around me. I didn't get why my parents didn't understand me. I didn't get why school was so like easy academically in one sense,
Mm-hmm.
but like super difficult in terms of like not getting in trouble with authority, and not getting just having issues with just the rules, and you know what I'm saying, the constraints, and them not wanting you to ask questions and dig deeper and challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm in positions where they want us to question why we're doing things the way they're doing, because they want to innovate and improve systems.
Mm-hmm.
But do you know how long it took me to find something like that? Like,
Take
for,
time.
for forever, I was told like, companies don't want you to go outside the box. They don't want you to think outside the box, until I started working for startups, and that's all they want you to do because they're
Mm-hmm.
trying to innovate and get to the best version of itself.
Mm-hmm.
And not to say that these are halcyonic places that are just totally, what do you call it, that are just totally idealistic. No, no, not all the time. There's still a lot of issues. There can still be a lot of abuse and exploitation in these environments, but that's what's proven to work best for me with my type of brain, where I don't feel like I have to constantly just be like this all the time. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, I've had to make really tough decisions about um what I would choose and what works best for me and all these things. So it's just like, I don't know. I can't manage beyond just a couple of weeks thinking ahead, just a couple of weeks. I don't have the capacity for that. And it doesn't work for my life. And I just have to say that because I think there's a lot of people out there who may feel the same way, in
Mm-hmm.
terms of, I don't have a 5-year plan, and they seem to keep switching directions and things like that. It's a symptom, it's a
Mm-hmm.
symptom, but it also could be a gift, because there are people who have done exactly pretty much what they said they would do since a child, and they're the ones who feel stuck in life. They feel like, I wish I could think outside the box. I
Mm-hmm.
wish I could get outside of my shell. I
Mm-hmm.
wish I could do something to surprise everybody in my life. They're waiting to surprise everybody in their life. They can't wait, but they can't seem to push themselves to do it. So it's like, I know that I'm a particular type of person. And there are some people who wish they had the things that came so easy for me, like, because I've thought to myself, I wish I could just fall in line and just settle on something and just keep doing that for the next however many years, and just know that I was going to do that and have that security. Meanwhile,
Mm-hmm.
there are people who are like, I wish I could just move to another country. Oh my God, I wish I could just, wow, you're so free. And so I used to really resent that, because they were looking at me as a free spirit.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting here with anxiety and like feeling so anxious and almost like a perfectionist in my head, and nothing felt free about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, you really don't see me if you think I'm a free spirit. Only now have I begun to actually feel free, because so much of it, I really do leave in God's hands. Like, I really do be trusting, like, I be trusting the universe like crazy. And
Mm-hmm.
things that I say that I want, things that pop into my head as a desire, they're coming to me, and I don't know when they're going to come.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I just know they come, and that's it. So I have to say that because it's something that I talk about even on my channel all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like just ADHD really is a superpower. However, it
Mm-hmm.
comes with its challenges. I would never want to invalidate the challenges that people have had with that. So I just hope no one would do that to me. But I respect the journey that you're on. I respect it.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm happy to be on
thanks
it.
for listening through that. What do you call it? Diatribe,
Yeah, that's right. Rant.
monologue.
It was a rant. But I do want to say something on that. Well, I think I apologize. I apologize. Apologize. I think what I was saying was direction. I don't know what I was saying, but there's something you always say that you do want to live in Mexico, right?
Um,
Like
I want
that's
to establish permanent residency in Mexico
right.
as a residency, but would I like to live other places too? Yes. Like I don't know if you know this. I want
Mhm.
to just make it very clear. People can
Mhm.
live in multiple places
Yeah,
throughout
I'm
their
going to
life.
camper van. I'm gonna be a nomad. I already that's my plan.
Some people act like they never knew that before. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
like such a surprise
Got
that
to figure
somebody
out
would
how to
want to
do it though,
live.
man. You got to figure out how you're gonna do it.
Well,
I've been in the house, tiny house moving for a while, but now I know exactly what I want to do. So now I'm gonna execute. You know what I'm saying? So you knew you have a direction, I guess. You know what I mean? Like that's your direction. Seems to be you want to be outside the U.S. living. So you're working towards that.
from time to time, I mean, I've
Yeah.
already done that.
Right.
So I'm
But I
working
thought permanent though.
towards,
Are you?
huh?
Do you want to be permanently like dual
Um,
citizenship or something like
it's
that,
really
or just
difficult for me to think of permanent because it's like, well, I don't know how long I'm going to live. So what does that mean?
okay?
I mean, I have no idea. Like,
Mhm.
like I want to live, I want to do whatever is best for wherever I'm at in life at the time. Like, I mean, things change all the time. Right now, it's best for me to be exactly where I am because it's providing me what I need most, even though it doesn't provide necessarily everything I want right now.
Right.
But when I was in Mexico, it was perfect for me at the time. I really feel drawn towards South Africa. So it's going to be perfect for me at the time when I go. And it may be 2-3 months. And some people say when they've been somewhere 2 or 3 months, they've lived there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean they live there for 10, 20 years, you know.
Right.
And
Right.
there's other places in the United States that may make sense for me. I have no idea. What if there's a job that just really, really works for me and they want me to be within a 2-hour commute and they pay me really well and I have a lot of flexibility. They just want me to live within a 2-hour commute and it's in Miami. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just like, how are you going to just say what you want when you don't know what's going to happen?
Right.
You're limiting yourself.
Right.
You're limiting yourself. I don't want
Right.
to limit myself.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I agree.
But also, people could, there is freedom and commitment as well. Like, if someone just decided they were going to be somewhere and was staunchly, you know, like, I'm going to be this place and I'm just going to be here for this amount of time, that's great.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. But anyway, I have 5%. So let's
Okay.
wrap up because I don't want to wrap up abruptly. That would be such a shame.
Yeah, I
So
was
let's
gonna
wrap up right
say
now.
this was saying. So yeah, I just want to say that I just want to read the definition from Gemini. Living authentically. Living authentically is a deeply personal and continuous journey of aligning your inner self with your outer actions and expressions. It's about being true to who you are at your core rather than conforming to external expectations or societal pressures. So it's the mask, taking the mask off. The mask we build up to protect ourselves.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay?
And it's a process, it's a lifelong process.
Right, right. I'll probably
Thank
stick
you so
on
much for
this.
this conversation.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Thank you for taking time in the woods and being all sunny and I'm trapped in the cave. It's a wonderful
Everything is
treat.
much of our life is a choice.
Yeah,
So
wonderful
go
treat.
outside.
Appreciate it.
All right, take
Appreciate it.
care.
Thank you. You have a good one. We
Bye.
appreciate it.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. I guess I should say we'll be back. I'll be back next week. I think it was a good conversation. I need to process it, and then I'll probably. But I think it was good though, actually. Um, I definitely know I need to stop saying things the way I say it. So bye.